Hello and welcome to Maths with Mr. Holmes. What will you learn today? Let me tell you. It's area of rectangles. Now, before we start, we need to ask an important question. What is area? Simply put, it's the space inside a shape, and we measure it in squares. So let's have a look at our first question. We have a rectangle. Its short side is 2 centimeters, 2 squares across, and the long side is 5 centimeters, or 5 squares across. As we know that it's the squares inside a shape, we could count up how many squares. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I know the area of my shape equals 10 squares. Now, I'm measuring today in centimeters, so I'm going to put that measurement. It's not the length, but it is measured in squares. And in maths, we do that with a squared symbol, and that is just a floaty 2. Okay, let's have a look at our next question. A similar question, we've got rectangle B. We've still got the squares that we can see. We know it's slightly bigger, so 7 centimeters across, and then 3 centimeters with the short edge. So, rather than counting the squares individually, what we could do is count across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 squares across. So we know there's 7 here, and then we've got another 7 here, and then we've got another 7 here. Or in other words, 7 3 times. 7 multiplied by 3. So if you have a look, we could use our times tables to help us. So 7 threes. If you're not sure of your 7s, then we could put that the other way around. So you could use your 3s. Find out the answer, and that would be 21 centimeters squared. Of course, you can check by counting the squares inside just to make sure. Let's try rectangle number 3. So this is rectangle C. You will notice it's slightly different. It's been filled in, so we can't see the squares. Now, if you're unsure, what you could do is you can use the squares from the outside and you can draw lines so that you can actually see the squares inside the shape. So we draw our vertical lines, and then we'll have a go at drawing our horizontal lines. That's our lines from left to right that go across, like the horizon. Now, you count up again. So we know the long edge is 6 centimeters, short edge is 4 centimeters, so we can either count in 4s. So we've got 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. Or if you did know your 6s, we could count down, so we could count the columns 6, 12, 18, 24. Remember, commutative law says you can multiply in any order, whether it's 6 times 4 or 4 times 6. So I know that the area of rectangle C is 24 centimeters squared. On to our final rectangle. Oh, I wonder what it's going to be. Here we have rectangle D. Now this is our hardest one yet. We have no squares to help us inside, and we have no squares on the outside. So if you can remember, let's have a look at our measurements. So our long side is 5 centimeters. Our short side is 4 centimeters. And the formula that we've found is that if you multiply these lengths, so that's the length multiplied by the width, will give you the area. So here we would have 5 centimeters multiplied by 4, and that will give us our area. So 5 times 4, or 4 times 5, use our times tables, gives us 20, and then we write our unit, which is centimeters squared. And there you have it, the area of rectangles. Remember, we can count the squares inside the shape, we can count across in rows, we can count down in columns, we can draw the lines so that we can see each of the squares if it doesn't have any squares inside, or we can use that mathematical formula finding the area of rectangles, that is the length multiplied the width, or the long side multiplied by the short side. And don't forget, whatever you're measuring in, it's always squared, that floaty little 2 after the unit of measurement. So have a little go yourselves, and I'll see you again soon for some more maths fun.